All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of 20 to Midnight, the show about three D&D heroes who have to race against the clock if they want to save the world. My name is Gabriel Urbina. I am the Dungeon Master.
And my name is Beth Eyre. I play Helena Hailstorm, a human fighter from the Veldran Empire, and I am here in London, London town.
And I am Emma Sherr-Ziarko. I play Cal, a.k.a. Calistoga Vance, a tiefling sorcerer from Bas-Saranoth, or Ammar. And I am coming to you
If
from
you
the
gotta
land
have
of
a backstory, why not make it multiple choice?
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere we go.
Yeah. I like to think that I find a home wherever I go. And I'm here in I physically, Emma, am here in the land of enchantment, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And my name is Mike Schubert. I play Satus and Kurtum, who is a human bard from Kilmoltron, and I am coming to you from New York City.
Is there a city slogan
City.
for New York? Is it just like the city that never sleeps, the way that Santa Fe is
I
the land
mean,
of
there's
enchantment?
that. There's
The
the
Big
Big Apple, which is
Apple.
I've realized I don't know the origin of why that's that. And then there's our official motto, I think, is Excelsior.
Oh, yeah.
Is like the official like
I looked up the
city
Big
or
Apple
state
thing
motto.
and was a little while ago, and if I remember correctly, it was basically just kind of one reporter was trying to make fetch happen and kind of called that and successfully made fetch happen. And I believe that it was somehow sports related.
That happens, and it's wild that it can, like Portland, for example. The Portland Trailblazers like very commonly say "Rip City" because one announcer said it once,
Uh-huh.
and then like now it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that's
Look,
wild.
that's
back
how,
in the day.
That's how people become immortal. Like you just say one thing real
Yeah.
good one time, and it bam, and it lives on forever. Yeah. But all right.
John J. Fitzgerald was that reporter's name, according to Wikipedia.
Thanks,
There we go.
Wikipedia.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Apologies to everyone that was in the middle of sending me an email letting me know what the name of
Yeah.
the person was, even as Emma said that, and then just like dejectedly had to take their hands off the
I know,
keyboard and didn't
I
get the
know,
satisfaction of going,
Sorry,
actually.
everyone. Yeah.
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 But folks, new year, new adventure, new arc. We are doing things. We're back. We had a little bit of a side story to end last year. We checked in with our long absent friends, the dragons, who we got to see a little bit of what was going on with them on board the Solanese ship that they had been captured on. And the answer was largely brainwashing. Hooray!
Yay!
But Volt, out of the three of them, after having a close encounter with someone that looked very, very similar to Cal, was able to a little bit break out of the mental conditioning and remember the reality of what was happening around them. And he managed to escape, although when we left him, he was left in the middle of the high seas, supported by the weight of his wings. Young dragon, we don't know how long he can do that. Maybe we'll find out. But for now, we are going back to our main three adventurers. No more identity crisis shenanigans like we had last time. And last that we sort of saw our three heroes, a lot of stuff was going on. Like, oh my god, like so much shit was going down. You were wheeling, you were dealing, you were flashbacking, you were flashing forward, you were flashing sideways. It was like a Lost special episode. Everyone was going in all kinds of directions around the final big auction in Bas-Saranoth, where you guys successfully outfoxed your opponents. You sort of did more risk alliances in the right ways than they did, and ended up with just enough funds to get the Sunset Loot, the sort of void piercer that is associated with the Maven. And Satus now wields it, properly sort of assuming his role as chosen champion for the goddess of knowledge and libraries and writing. After that, you perhaps wisely decided that the time had come to make yourselves scarce in that city. But transportation was a bit of an issue because news had started to come in about a Solanese blockade around the island of Ammar, which you knew was your destination for the last Void Piercer. But no problem. Let's just throw some pirates at the issue, and that'll take care of that. You made a deal with notorious pirate captain Vorla Curlin, who agreed to take you on her ship, the Maelstrom, where you've been sailing for about 2 weeks now. And finally, I think that if this was kind of an episode of TV, the previously on 20 to Midnight would include a few clips from back when you were at Mount Firmament talking to the to our friend Maeve's patron there, and she was kind of giving you information. And she specifically told you that her brother Theros is in the city of Starfall in Ammar, and that he is associated with the Night Star, one of the gods, sort of the way that Demetria was associated with the Frostwalker and Apollo was associated with the Maven. So you would sort of know that. You're not just walking around the big-ass country of Ammar. You are specifically looking for a way to get to the town of Starfall, and they are trying to find Theros, the last of kind of our 4 seasonal-themed super beings. Any questions? Has everybody... Last time that we sort of were playing with these characters, we leveled up. Has everybody done all that? Chosen new spells, new features? Hit that long rest button?
I have not hit the long rest button yet.
Yeah, you are fully authorized. Go ahead and do that.
Okay.
We only do that like twice a year on this stream.
I know.
It's very exciting.
Chance.
Now's our chance.
Don't miss out. Go ahead, replenish everything, back to full health, full spells, full features.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Cool.
So just like very quickly, like anybody got anything super exciting that they can do now with this level up? We now have Helena and Satus.
I have an initiative of +2.
Nice.
Woo.
Rocking.
And I also have some other things. I was able to I think bust up my dexterity a little bit.
Nice.
And
probably where
other
that
little
2 is
things
coming
here
from.
and there. I guess that would be that.
That's it.
But then also my coolest thing is that my sunset loot lets me do a bunch of cool stuff. I have a new first level spell.
It's a little bit more complicated
others.
than Helena's stuff, which is just makes her harder to hit and makes her kill things really good. What does the sunset loot let you do?
Yeah, so the first thing is I have a first level spell called Protection from Evil and Good, which says that until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, such as aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead, which I'm very excited now to ask Gabriel at the beginning of every fight, how would you classify this villain? So that's that.
I'm excited to see what knowledge arcana checks tell you about these things.
I also have the
shorthand there, Mike, is that if it seems that it is a thing from another dimension, the spell will work. If it seems like it is a thing that is like terrestrial and from Kelterin, it probably won't.
Cool.
That is the
I also
shorthand.
have some second level spells that let me turn invisible and levitate. I also have a third level spell where I can fly. And
Which is the one ability that we saw briefly back in Bas Serenath as you tried to get to the ship on time.
Oh, is that why I only have 6 out of 7 charges of
but go ahead and fill that up. Fill that up back to 7. Long rest, baby.
Cool. I did the long rest button and it kept it there. So I don't know if I need to do a
I may have
wired
it differently. This thing resets every day, not every rest. So we'll probably have to just reset it manually.
That's cool. And then I also get 3 5th level spells out of it.
Yeah, here comes the
Modify...
OP part.
Whoa.
Yeah, one is called Modify Memory, so I can reshape another creature's memory depending on how a wisdom throw goes. I also have something called Rary's Telepathic Bond. I can form a telepathic link among up to 8 willing creatures within range, and we are all linked during the duration of 1 hour. So we can all kind of communicate telepathically, which is pretty sweet. And then the last 5th level spell I have is called Seeming, which allows me to change the appearance of any number of creatures that I can see within range. And I give each target a new illusory appearance. And an unwilling target can make a charisma saving throw to be unaffected. So I've got camouflage, I've got telepathy, I've got memory stuff, I can fly. I feel like Charles Xavier now.
He is
Yeah.
a full-blown Men in Black. You did not just see
For
that
real.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going to for sure, and this will be a little challenge for myself, is every time I use the lute to do one of these spells, I'm going to have to think of a song title that is similar. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like
I like this.
if I'm using the fly one, I might have already done this in the last episode. Did I play Lenny Kravitz? I Want to Fly Away.
You
I
did.
think. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep that trend going.
Yeah. That's the fly song.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah. Emma, how's our third musketeer doing?
Well, so I'm at a whopping 44 HP.
Hell yeah.
Let's
At
go.
level 7. Right? Yeah, level 7. Because I'm a level below you guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're both level 8 now.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So, but I did get I had asked Gabriel last time. I was like, how do I switch out spells? So I clarified for sorcerers, you can switch out one spell slot or one spell at per long rest.
This is the way that I am ruling it. This is not necessarily the way to play it. Nobody sent me
Well,
an
no,
email.
this is what D&D says. This is what the player's handbook says.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying before anyone has a hearty
Yeah.
actually. Don't
I
worry about
also want to apologize for those of you sticklers in the past. I was misusing my sorcery points. I apologize. It was an accident. I was not expending enough sorcery points per spell slot that I recovered, and it was an honest mistake, I promise. But I will be paying closer attention now. But
Don't
so
worry, everyone. This arc will have plenty of narrative punishment for Emma's sins.
Thank you. So I switched out. I had Alter Self, which I was like, I got the gloves of Jeff. What do I need Alter Self for? And I took my favorite, my favorite spell
Sorry.
that I'm doing in my Cal playthrough of Baldur's Gate, which is Lightning Bolt. Which is going to go great on this pirate ship, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But basically, a stroke of lightning forming a line 100 feet long and 5 feet wide blasts out from me in a direction I choose. Wow. Each creature in the line must make a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 8d6 lightning damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. I love this spell. And so Gabriel, get ready for a lot of me saying, so would you say that these enemies are standing in a line?
And I'm gonna be saying a lot of, so there's one enemy, then Helena, then the other enemy.
Yeah, of
very
course,
much
of course,
in the middle.
Yeah.
There's
They are
really
running
no angle that you can kind of do this at.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
The enemies are in the flying V from
Yeah. And then I also got to take on a 4th level spell, and I took Control Water.
This I saw, and this I love. I think this is so
nice.
smart.
Yeah. I thought this might come in handy. And I think that's it. I think that's all Cal gets.
Okay, cool.
She remains a glass cannon.
We wouldn't love her if she wasn't that.
Oh, I also did. I forgot. Emma just reminded me that because I leveled up, I got to add a couple new spells.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
I got Confusion, which is another like twisting of the mind one.
Mhm.
I got Dispel Magic, which I think I might have had before, but I'm not
You
positive.
might
But that can kind of
have,
like stop
yeah.
some stuff. And then I might have added something else. We'll find out. But I've also got some new spells. So if I do a new spell and someone's like, wait a second, it's because it's new.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Satus's enmity against the vintner is second only to his enmity against all my plans as a DM. He is a one-man campaign derailer, and every level that he goes up, he just gets more powerful in his ability to kind of go, oh, this person's standing in our way? Nope. Oh, this person doesn't want to let us through? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I will use this power as I always have been, which is not to make the story boring.
Great.
So
I love that.
I will use discretion.
I also want to share, I have a new set of dice. We're going to break them in today. We're going to see how it goes.
And
They've
we will
got
cast them into fire if they roll.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would be a shame to go to dice jail after one use.
Yeah, after one use. I don't know if you can tell. I don't think this is going to work, but there's like little strawberries in there.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Tasty.
They're really
Beautiful.
They're really cute. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Friends, what are some of your favorite dice? Leave it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. We
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we get started proper?
Let's do it.
Do it.
Alrighty. So, I don't necessarily want to have this first session just kind of be 3 hours of you guys are on a boat, but let's do a tiny little bit of you guys being on a boat. It takes about 2 weeks sailing at top speed to get from Bas Serenat to Ammar. The crew of the Maelstrom, it is definitely sort of, you get the sense that this is a crew that has been chosen to kind of be a highly skilled, small fleet, agile crew. It's not necessarily as fully stocked in the personnel department as the big Solanese ships were. But you get the sense that this is a well-oiled criminal sailing machine. And the way that sort of all of the different sailors, the gunners, the boatswain, the sort of like everyone that is involved in it, is just like handling everything that has to do with sailing on this ship, which once again I remind you is painted completely black right down to the sails, is truly impressive. But it largely means that you are left to your own devices. So what do each of you do to spend time while you're on the ship and just kind of sailing? What is something that each one of you does to occupy at least some of your time?
I think Satus would take a lot of time to analyze the loot now that we have it, really trying to like understand the intricacies, both of it as an instrument from that perspective, but then also trying to like get a sense of the magical aura of it.
Cool.
Just, now we've got the thing, let's understand the thing.
Awesome. Great. Roll me then first an investigation and then an arcana check to just kind of get a sense of how this goes.
So investigation was 19 plus 3 for a 22.
Nice.
And then arcana was 13 plus 3 for a 16.
Nice.
Cool. So you basically give this thing as close of an examination, like you maybe even borrow someone's spyglass to kind of do a like microscopic analysis of this. You basically go as far into digging into what makes this loot special as you can go without doing things like, now let's like take it apart.
Okay.
But like the first impression that you get is just kind of, this thing was absolutely exquisitely made. You've traveled very far, you've seen a lot of wonderful instruments. You've probably never, I don't think, knowing what I know about Satus's backstory, that you've ever played like the in-world equivalent of a Stradivarius violin, but maybe you've kind of seen one in either in a museum or in a very important performance, and you get the sense that this is even more well made than that. Just kind of this like absolutely beautiful wood that has been given this like brilliant treatment, and all of these kind of little counterintuitive touches that at first you're like, why is this here? And then you spend 5 hours thinking about it and examining it, and then you're like, holy shit, of course this is here. That makes the acoustics work this way, and that makes sort of like each of the notes be more resonant and wonderful. So you're just like, first away, blown away by the craftsmanship of the thing itself.
Cool.
Arcana-wise, it's perhaps even stranger because most of the time when something is enchanted, there is some visible component to where the magic is coming from, be it some sigildry, some runes that have been put on it, some kind of component that has been left behind. There is none of that here, which makes it feel all the more like either all of that stuff was put in the interior components of the loot, which, good job whoever built it, or it is just one of these like, yeah, this was touched by a divinity, and it just kind of absorbed the powers of that encounter and still has them. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
And then I think the rest of... There's also probably some time kind of experimenting and mastering the powers of it. And we can say that, like, by the end of the 2 weeks, you've got a pretty good sense of kind of, okay, if I play it this way, it casts this spell. If I play it that way, it casts the other spell.
Cool. Yeah. I like how that works. Like, in time, it would take me time to figure out how to get it to work so that I'm not just like, cool, let me do all this fun stuff now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Beth and Emma, what about you guys?
So I think Cal does a couple of different things, and one of them would involve Helena, which is which is having Helena train her a little bit more so that she's maybe a little bit better at rolling out of the way of hits, like practicing like a little bit of defensive combat. Since I've been struggling a little bit.
This is perfect because fighting training is something that Helena would definitely be wanting to do with anybody who is up for it. Pirates, Satus, Cow.
Yeah, maybe pirates join in too.
Also, you can practice hitting me because I am so tough now.
Yeah, I'll try.
Do.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm trying to think about...
Do I get to hold your sword? Can I even lift it?
If you want to do that, Cal, that would help you, then you can have a go if you're careful.
I think at one point I do try. I'm not sure if I can even lift the sword though.
Keep doing reps, you get there.
Yeah.
For the record, when you try to lift Helena's sword, you can lift it. It's a heavy sword, but it is not heavier than your average greatsword. In fact, it may be slightly lighter. But when it's not Helena holding it, the sort of cold that emanates from the blade, it's not completely gone, but it is definitely less pronounced. And you sort of get the feeling that this would probably be a much less deadly instrument when not wielded specifically by Helena.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. I think I try to hit her with it just for fun at one point.
Oh, good.
Okay, well, roll me an attack roll. Let's see how this goes.
Bring it on.
Swear to God, this is gonna be another one of Cal's freaky mistimed nat 20s.
Yeah.
Kills Helena.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, that's not... I don't know what you want to add to it, but I rolled a 7. So that's not great.
Yeah, Beth, what does Helena do to easily and effortlessly stop this blow? And I want to emphasize, not dodge it, but stop it.
Oh, in that case, I feel like she just sort of casually just turns a shoulder to it, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just kind of like clinks against your armor.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
You know.
I think then, Beth, roll me first an intelligence check and then a charisma check.
Okay,
just
sure.
to kind of see how this training goes. For the record, 1 or 2 members of the crew might be interested, but it quickly becomes apparent that number 1, they are all quite skilled swordsmen already, and number 2, they are not interested in Helena's very sort of soldier knight fighting style. Like they are trained in a very dirty fighting style. And so they kind of quickly sort of end up sparring amongst themselves and not paying a ton of attention.
Well, I get a 10 for intelligence and a 19 for charisma.
Okay, great. Well, that is
Checks
more
out.
more that is more than enough. And we can say that there were kind of a couple of days of training. Beth, tell us a little bit about what Helena is like as a fighting instructor. How would we characterize her teaching style?
She's very enthusiastic and sort of quite big on motivating people and bigging them up. She's not always the best of explaining what she's doing, and she can get like a little bit impatient, not necessarily with the other person, but slightly with the fact you haven't learned it yet. But she's tireless, despite getting a little bit edgy about it, and she wants to try lots of different things, thinking that if one thing isn't that person's forte, maybe something else will be. We just need to find out what you're good with, what we can use. Yeah.
Sounds like a great teacher.
I like it. Cool. Cal, roll me an intelligence and a dexterity check.
Okay. Ooh, intelligence. Okay. So intelligence is 18 and dexterity is 11.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'll say. You don't become a more capable swordsman overnight. You don't become a more capable fighter overnight. But I think that this is a big enough time span, and Helena is doing a good enough job as a teacher that you are sharpening some of the technical side of it. Your stance is improving. You're holding your weight better. You are kind of managing yourself better. What you're now missing is just kind of that like muscle memory of drilling it over and over and over and over again. But this isn't nothing. So here's what I'll say.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to give you a D6, a mental imaginary D6, which you'll only be able to roll it once.
Okay.
But you can roll it to add to a melee attack, which is what we're learning.
A melee attack. Okay.
Or to add to your armor class when an enemy is attacking you. Once.
Okay. Once.
This is going to be
Got
sort of
it.
a like permanent, non-expiring bardic inspiration die.
Great.
This is excellent.
But this is a good enough idea that I want to reward it, and I think that
Yay.
saying I like the narrative idea of at one point Cal only being able to sort of roll out of the way thanks to this training that Helena gave her. I really like this.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Go, Cal.
I can do it.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, that's...
Thanks, Helena.
Yeah, it's all you. It's all you doing the work. Yeah.
I couldn't do it without you.
Oh.
That's 2 out of 3. Beth, what is something that Helena would do to spend time on the ship besides this one that we just discussed?
Well, I think possibly while, maybe in tandem with that, but also with Satus, I think Helena would be asking her companions about where they're going, about Ammar. She really hasn't seen much of the world and doesn't really know about the people, the law, anything really. So I think she would just be trying to get a little bit prepped on what we're up against.
Beautiful. I like this. Satus and Cal, roll me history checks. Cal, you with advantage.
Okay, history. That would be a 25.
Oh, God.
Yeah. History.
Big nerd.
History is cool.
That makes sense. I rolled 2 12, so I get a 14.
Nice.
Yeah.
A spiritual 24.
Yes.
Okay, so Satus can basically just like disgorge a lot of the basic information about this country. Ammar is sort of this island nation that is off the coast of Keldarin. It is sort of the only of the major countries that is, you know, it's a little bit like the United Kingdom. It has sort of like, you know, a moat around it. It is the original home of the elves. Like, it is sort of a very known and established fact that the elves came from this island. Although exactly what that means and what who were the first elves and who has kind of dominion and a claim over these lands was a matter that was very hotly debated and then very hotly contested with a lot of wars for a very, very long time. But the modern state of Ammar came to be when, among the sort of elven population, 3 saints appeared. Saint Vodania, Saint Avelos, and Saint Jelen, who were chosen souls of the gods that are the Night Star, the Lord of Mists, and the Fate Spinner. And they sort of led this very Joan of Arc style revolution that was sort of going, we should stop fighting. These are holy lands. These are the lands that, like, our gods have given for us. Instead of fighting over them, we should all be together. And what started off as a fairly peaceful movement ended up turning into a, like, military revolution that ended up conquering the country. So that kind of brought an end to the warring in Ammar. And since then, it is a theocracy. It is the only nation in Keldarin where the church is directly the administrative executive power in the land. The churches of the Night Star, the Lord of Mists, and the Fate Spinner are the government of Ammar. It is almost entirely populated by elves. Very, very few people that are not elves live in Ammar. Very few people that are not elves visit Ammar. There are places within it that are explicitly only for elves to visit, although Starfall, where you're going, is not known as one of those places. And it's one of these, like, look, it sounds really nice on a lot of levels. It's a lot of forests and forest cities. The arts are extremely well funded. There's free education. There is, sort of like a very real sense of kind of, it's not enough for people to live. They should also be supported. Welfare programs. Like, it's like a really kind of, in some ways utopian place. But it's also extremely suspicious of outsiders and extremely suspicious of people that are not direct worshippers of the 3 gods that rule this country. Emma, do you want to talk a little bit about Cal's history with this place, at least as much as she would share with Helena and Satus?
Yeah, I think at this point, Cal would tell her companions that she was born here, and her mother was a tiefling kind of servant to in one of the churches, essentially of the Night Star, and that big spoiler here, Alden Vance, who Razak kidnapped in Bas-Saranath, is not her birth father, but her birth father is an elven priest of the Night Song here. And when Cal started showing signs of sorceress power as a child, they thought it would be wisest to get her out of here. And so Cal and they got in touch with Alden in Bas-Saranath, who had come from here, and basically sent her to him, and he became her adoptive father. And that's sort of where we're at, and she has not had a lot of contact with her birth parents in over the years. And she resents them a little bit, but also just kind of moved on with her life. And so coming back is a little strange.
You haven't had much contact with your birth parents since you left?
No, I think a few letters here and there, especially when she was younger, with her mother. Like, her mother would be in contact, but I think once she kind of became, Cal was a little bit of a rebellious teenager. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Yes.
From all the tales of Wait, what was it?
Contraband Hill.
Contraband
Yeah,
Hill.
Hill.
Yes.
There were some subtle
and
context
so-
clues that we might have picked up on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you read between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. And I think around that time, Cal started becoming a little resentful of her parents and her birth parents and kind of stopped contacting them. I think they've tried to contact, or at least her mother's tried to contact her several times. And I think she's maybe only sent a letter once or twice in the past 5 years. And definitely not since all this started happening.
Cool.
That's-
Emma, remind me of what is your sorcery archetype? It's not chosen soul, it's divine soul.
Divine
Divine
soul,
soul.
yes.
Yes.
Which it's gonna go great.
the three saints that conquered Ammar were divine souls as well. Like they were people that were specifically sort of touched by the gods. And yeah.
And I think also at this point she would share that only Satus, Helena, and Alden know for sure, and her birth parents suspect, but they know for sure that she is a divine soul.
The pirate
otherwise-
that was sitting at your table kind of shuffles uncomfortably.
God damn it.
I'm kidding.
Jeremiah. Yeah. You're sworn to secrecy.
No. That is a joke.
I'm okay with it. But yeah, so I think that's kind of where we're at with Cal's backstory.
Cool.
And that's why she can say that she's from both Ammar and Boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Like sort of,
Yeah.
by birth Amari, by
Yeah.
Nurture Serenathi.
Yeah, exactly.
Satus, I think the other thing that you would know is that so Ammar and Kelmoltron, where Satus is from, are very close by. Like if you sort of, Kelmoltron is to France as Ammar is to the United Kingdom. They are sort of very close geographic neighbors, just separated by the channel of sea that is between them.
And they hate each other.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That, there is this definite, a lot of stereotypes, a lot of kind of, the Kelmoltrians think of the Amari as hoity-toity ivory tower intellectuals that spend a lot of time philosophizing and talking about doing things instead of actually doing them. And they're like all super delicate and prissy. And then, the Amari think of the Kelmoltrians as unsophisticated and uncultured. And they just, are like always just so focused on doing things just because they can instead of ever asking themselves if it's worth doing it. So there's a lot of prejudice and there's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of, both good-natured and genuinely bad-natured rivalry between the people of both lands.
Yeah. I mean, I think that'll be interesting for Satus because my whole idea for the backstory was that he was more of a, artsy-fartsy type of person from the rough and tumble town. So I think it'll be interesting of like, he still has love for his homeland, but never really fit in and recognizes like he probably would fit in more here. But does that mean he likes the place? Will he be conflicted? I'm kind of excited to see how it goes, but it is like should make more sense of a fit for fancy history, nerd, art, theater boy to be in Ammar.
And, number one, there's a reason why I bring it up. And number two, there's definitely like bard colleges in Ammar that Satus would have killed to go to. And sort of institutions and conservatories and music colleges here that are like, the kind of place that Satus would have killed to go to.
Sure. Yeah. Julie Bard, if you will.
Exactly. Why am I even here? Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, we can end the stream now. That was
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Really fun. Right. See you next week where we have the flashback of Satus applying to Julie Bard.
This is we're spinning off now. Never mind this adventure.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Great. Great, great, great. I love all this. 2 weeks pass. You are about the point where you're maybe a couple of days away from the Amari coastline. Captain Curlin has told you that if you are able to get past the Solanese blockade, which she is very optimistic that you will be able to get through no problem, she can drop you out in the town of Odenasa, which is a seaside town that is a couple of days' walk from Starfall. It is the closest that she can get you. She wants you all to think about, there's kind of 3 options. She could drop you off in the main docks, which would definitely mean that you would need to go through customs, basically. She could try to smuggle you into town. She has a contact in town at one of the local inns that has kind of a discreet under the table dock in one of the local caves where she could try to smuggle you in. Or she could just put you in a skiff and leave you in the beach, like well outside of town. And it's a little bit of kind of, that's a sliding scale of harder to pretend that you're not there, to easier to pretend that you're not there. But also, if you get caught, the more you look like you're doing something shady.
Right.
So think about that.
Just a total sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't come across any, I don't know,
Dragons?
dragons.
No. Don't be silly.
Okay.
As far as you know, all 3 of your dragons are on a Solanese ship under lock and key.
Right.
Okie dokie.
Well, let's think about what we want to do here.
Yeah. So there's the Solanese customs. I think we should do that.
No, to be clear, Amari customs.
Okay.
You are definitely,
Okay.
you're not getting, no. This pirate has enough trouble with the Solanese government that she is in no way going to be interacting with them unless there's a cannon involved.
Okay.
So she can leave you in town, and then you would need to go through Amari customs. And again, Amari are not known for being particularly welcoming hosts, and will probably have a lot of questions.
Yep.
She can try to smuggle you into town, or she can leave you on the beach, like, a ways away from town.
And then if we are left on the beach, do we just kind of have to, like, walk into town and try to, like, sneak in? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Well,
you
I think if I...
Or you could bypass Odenasa altogether and kind of, cut through wilderness and just make your way to Starfall. Again, there might be, at a certain point, somebody, if you get into trouble, somebody might be, where are your traveler's documentations?
Right. And she wouldn't have any sort of, counterfeit travel documents or any kind of that we could potentially.
Captain Curlin goes, what do you think we've been using as napkins? We have so
Yeah.
many forged traveler's documentations. We can give you new names, we can give you new origin points, we can give you new things, but it's Ammar. This place is finicky. They might ask questions. Their questions might be asked with spells. They might, not take it kindly that none of you are elves. So, you might consider all of these things.
My thought is, if there's anything I can do, it's talk my way out of a situation. And, with my abilities and the loot's abilities, I can extra talk my way out of a situation. So if we're going to already run the risk of having to talk a way out of it, I say, why not just get it directly done and over with at the customs place, as opposed to trying to sneak into town and then still having to answer then we have to answer who we are and also why we are sneaking around. That's my thought.
That is a very compelling argument. I was kind of over bursting into the pub because, pubs.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but what you say makes a lot of sense.
I
guess
did
if we
like
get our
the
stories straight.
Yeah, I did like the idea of getting smuggled in. But here's my question. Ostensibly, it's possible that we might come across the Solanese navy and the ship that holds our dragons.
It's possible.
And it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do probably want to check out this coastal town. We don't want to just bypass it altogether.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I suppose we can sort of tell the truth and say that that my parents are here and that we're going to visit them. I'm bringing my friends and
Yeah, we try to keep it as normal as we can, and then if they start to ask questions, we try to skirt around, and if we really need to skirt, I can, use the old silver tongue, so to speak, or the golden lute, one of the two.
Yeah.
Captain Curlin claps her hands together and says, "All right, we'll bring you into town proper then. That sounds like a plan."
Okie dokie.
Awesome.
Wow,
I
this
love
is unlike
customs.
us. This
I
is
know.
unlike us to just be so
Direct.
direct.
We're not the stealthiest bunch.
No,
guess
no.
But you two are so powerful now. There are all sorts of things you can do right if things do go wrong, as Satus says. So.
I
Well,
have
and
multiple
you're
things
very
I can
strong.
utilize. So, yes, and if things get really bad, we'll throw you at them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or,
To distract them.
I can shoot a lightning bolt at a whole bunch of people. Worst
We
case
have
scenario.
options.
Yeah,
Options.
or manipulate the water and destroy the whole town.
Yeah.
Like, endless possibilities.
Excellent.
Huzzah.
We cut to that night. Helena and Satus, you've been having very, perhaps you're having the regular amount of stress dreams that people on a quest to stop world destruction are having. But you're not having any unusual dreams the way that you had in the past. Cal, so far on this voyage, it's been a lot of the usual burning cities, blood, dismembered bodies, acts of violence. Sometimes you're watching them, sometimes you're doing them. Violence, violence, violence. Until this night, when you are about 2 days sailing away from Ammar. This night, you dream of a beautiful grove in the middle of a forest on a dark, cloudless night with this brilliant silver moon overhead. And you find yourself walking into this glade. There's a beautiful crystalline lake that is completely still. And set up next to it is an easel with a canvas on it. And on a little table, a series of paints. And for a moment, the words appear on the canvas, "Who do you want to be?" And then they fade away.
That's just the worst question that I could be asked. I want to be a hero. I want to be a good guy.
The table with the paints shake slightly.
Oh. Am I supposed to paint myself?
It shakes slightly again.
I'm going to go up to the paints. Is there a paintbrush
Yep,
or anything?
there's a
or are we-
paintbrush.
oh, okay. I'm going to dip the paintbrush into one of the paints and do my best to...
Your best is fucking good. Whatever is happening here, it is you've never been this skilled at painting before. Like you
I think
sort
I've
of
been
have
skilled at anything.
this grace understanding of how colors mix, how shading is supposed to be, even sort of, composition and shapes. It all comes to you very, very easily. So what do you paint?
So I think I paint myself kind of riding a dragon and throwing a firebolt at the vintner.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Very, very so looking extremely heroic.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
You put the finishing touches on the painting. And for a moment it glows. And then the paints all seem to recede back into the canvas. And it's white again. And now the words appear, "What is stopping you?"
I think I'll dip the paintbrush in the paint.
And at that moment, you receive a sharp shove on your left side, and you fall to the floor. And when you fall, you don't fall in that beautiful forest glade. You fall in a fairly modern-looking office, the same place that you went to when you briefly died back in the Teldorath. And you hear the sound of a door closing. And you find that strange, well-dressed man whose face you can't quite manage to look at. As he sort of goes, "Whoo, that was a close one, eh, Cal? Boy, you almost ended up in the wrong side of town there," and he'll offer a hand to help you up.
I think I'll get up myself.
Oh, come on
Take
now.
his hand.
You're among friends.
Am I?
Please.
Look, I'm not grateful for you and, what you've done for me. But I don't even know who you are. And generally, like dreams of death and destruction and violence doesn't bode well.
Don't focus too much on the subject matter of those dreams. I just send you the ability and the impetus to change. What your mind chooses to interpret those signals as, most of the time it's just random noise. Don't worry too much about it. The important thing is that you are an agent of change in the world. That I have made you an agent for change. And don't forget, whatever any interfering little night witch may be trying to do, I was here first. I made you talented and powerful. And I want you to remember that, Cal.
I'll remember it.
Yes? Are you sure about that? I'm still feeling some tension here.
Well, you're not exactly inviting me to trust you a whole lot. What kind of change are you looking for?
I leave that entirely in your hands. I am not in the business of defining what my chosen do. I'm just in the matter of picking them. I don't look for what, I just look for who. And I trust you to do whatever you want with the powers that I have bestowed upon you. I can tell you right now, that is the best deal that you are going to get from any divinity. And I have to once again emphasize, this entire conversation is tinged by the fact that the most that you can look at is this being's, chin.
Yeah,
Any attempt to
yeah,
kind of, see
yeah,
more
and
than
it's
that
like-
is,
yeah.
yes, actively hurts your eyes.
Can you tell me your name at least?
I've had many, many, many names. The one rule among my kind is that I can't tell you my real name.
Well, how about
Jeff.
a name?
Jeff. The one true Jeff.
The one true Jeff.
See, Mike, that's a problem now, because that is
Yeah.
better than anything that I could have said. If he just goes, You can
Jeffrey.
call me Jeff. It's as good a name as any, don't you think?
Well, now you've ruined Jeff for me. But
I'm just answering some prayers that I was getting from someone.
I understand. I think.
Cal,
Well,
you know who I am.
I know who you could be.
Mm-hmm. Look. There's a lot of bad things that are said about the gods that are in favor of upturning the status quo, instead of simply letting the current set of injustices and systems keep going forever. Don't believe a word of it. All that we are people that are interested in letting change continue, and then finding people that are the right agents for change. That's all that I've ever been to you. Or perhaps you would rather our association end. Perhaps you'd rather we simply go our own ways. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just want to understand more. Just want to know what kind of power I'm dealing with.
That can be arranged. You're heading towards Starfall. Seek out a man called Calvera there. He should be able to give you
Calvera.
some enlightenment.
Okay.
And perhaps we should... But perhaps you're right. Perhaps we should take a step back here. Take some time, learn a little bit more about me, learn a little bit more about my good works. And then we can talk about resuming our work together. How does that sound to you?
That sounds very fair. More than I expected.
Terrific. Sweet dreams. And with that, you wake up.
Well, shit.
On that note, let's take 5 minutes. And we'll be right back, folks.
Great.